Welcome to the Investing Podcast presented by Tusk Media. The final bell has rung and the market is now closed. So let's move on to an audio and video recap with the Investing Happy Hour.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Investing Happy Hour, part of the Investing Podcast presented by Tusk Media. As always, we're back for the third time today, as promised, and got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about the market activity for the day. We're going to talk about a nice little end-of-month recap and a quick look at where we are year-to-date in the U.S. equity markets. And also going to take a look at some winners and one particular loser for the day. And it's probably going to be one of our favorite losers of the year. It's so good that we're going to actually dig in and do a little power ranking on this one particular loser. So we're going to jump right in real quick. Mixed market results today. So we had the Dow that was down about 0.5%. The S&P down just a little bit, about 10 basis points, and the NASDAQ actually eked out a gain. So a little bit of an anomaly in that regard because we did see some dispersion amongst the three major benchmarks in U.S. equity, but that's something we've actually seen year-to-date for the most part. If you want to take a look at a real quick look at year-to-date price returns within these indexes, understand that we are not talking about any kind of return that includes a dividend or any kind of reinvestment. So we're just talking about purely the price from when the market opened on Monday, January 4th, to where it is at the close of business today on Tuesday, May 31st. The Dow is actually down 1.29%. The S&P 500 is up 2.89%, and NASDAQ is up 1.03%. And that does include the month of May. We had really nice May gains for these indices this month. The Dow was up a little bit less than 0.1%, so not much movement, but not necessarily surprising there, especially given some of the selling off we saw today. The S&P was up more than 1.5% for the month, and the NASDAQ really rallied, was up 3.6% for the month. So that's a big contributor to the gains there. Had to get that circled. We also had oil up for the fourth consecutive month. It was up more than 7%, and on a price per barrel futures contract basis. We had gold actually suffer its first monthly loss of the year. So for the most part, everything was up. Obviously gold, when you see the equity markets kind of across the board going up in green, especially with oil, you tend to expect something to sell off, and it was gold. With regards to today, we talked about it during the stock market power lunch, and we saw that oil companies, a number of small ones, were really kind of the leaders within the major indices that were up, some of them 3, 4, 5, even 6%. That continued to hold true. The other thing that we've seen, and we've seen this for the last couple of weeks, are some of these chip makers and these microprocessors. Companies like Micron, Western Digital, Seagate Technologies. These companies had really strong days. Actually, those three were all up more than 3% on the day, which brings us to the loser of the day, which is a guy by the name of Stephen McClatchy. So Stephen McClatchy is a trader for Barclays. He's making headlines for all the wrong reasons today. Stephen McClatchy is involved in a not-so-typical insider trading scandal. It's probably my favorite insider trading scandal of the year. So what we're going to do is give you a quick summary. Then we're going to run through basically and power rank the components of this insider trading scandal to find what's the most intriguing, what's the most out of the ordinary, and what's the most fun. Long story short, Stephen McClatchy allegedly traded insider stock trips for a new bathroom. Soak that in for a minute. He traded some insider tips on mergers and acquisitions, things like that, for a new bathroom. Now let's get into some of this and kind of dig into what happened, why it happened, and what makes this story so great. So power ranking, number 5. The number 5 coolest part about the story is simply that it happened. I love being able to read headlines about trading tips for bathrooms. Doesn't happen every day. I love it. Number 4. This is really important. The sum total of these insider tips generated a unequitable gain north of $76,000. So one of two things has happened here. Either that's a really fantastic bathroom that the plumber hooked him up with, or he's not making the best deals here. It seems like you could have probably offered more in terms of insider trades to still get a bathroom. I don't think we're dealing with kind of a simple porta potty type setup here. I'm thinking TV in the shower, all that good stuff. So that's a pretty compelling part. Number 3, this wasn't an isolated incident. This happened on 11 different occasions. So he kind of chipped away at this thing. Here's $6,000 or $7,000 worth of insider information. Let's go ahead and get really nice shower curtains and gold fixtures for those sinks. Let's slowly work towards the point in which I have the bathroom of my dreams. Let's make it happen. Number 2, if you're wondering where he got inspiration for such a marvelous $76,000 bathroom that was paid for with insider trading tips, he might have gotten it at his yacht club, because that is where he happened to meet the plumber who did this work for him in his bathroom and who used these insider trading tips. Now, he's not just any normal plumber, because he owns the boat slip right next to Mr. McClatchy. They have identical boats, in fact, according to Bloomberg Business Wire and a number of sources. So, he must be a pretty good plumber, by all accounts. That, or he's got a lot of clients similar to Mr. McClatchy. And the most interesting part about this story is the plumber's name. Now, bear with me here, because there's a punchline and it might not be the one you think it is, but the plumber's last name is P-U-S-E-Y. Now, lest you think I'm making a Donald Trump type joke here, you need to understand that his first name is Gary. So, we're not talking about Gary Busey, the famous and pretty deranged actor. We're talking about Gary Busey, the $76,000 insider trading plumber extraordinaire. So, for obvious reasons, Stephen McClatchy is the loser of the day. These are the 5 components of that story that I think make it most compelling. I don't know if we're going to top that this whole year. So, we'll keep a lookout. We'll try to match that. We'll keep power ranking things. We'll keep looking out for losers. If you see somebody that you think is a loser that deserves to be broken down during the Investing Happy Hour, tweet at us at Tusk Media LLC. Leave us a 5-star review. Tell us who you saw. We'll read it on the air. Subscribe on iTunes. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on Stitcher Radio. Wherever you're consuming our media, make sure to show us some love. We'll leave you with a disclosure, and then we'll get out of here. Tusk Media is a subsidiary of Narwhal Capital Management. Ratings and reviews of Tusk Media content are not to be construed as endorsements of opinion, analysis, or services offered by Tusk or its parent company. The opinions and predictions shared here are our professional beliefs at the time of publication. We are not under duress from any of the corporate entities mentioned. This is not a solicitation to take any particular action. Although we are investment advisors, this information should not be considered investment, legal, or tax advice. We strive to be as impartial, insightful, and accurate as possible. We base our opinions, analysis, and calculations on information we believe to be reliable, but we cannot guarantee its accuracy. We can, however, guarantee that our opinion will sometimes be flat out wrong because of a variety of factors. Employees and clients of Narwhal Capital Management may or may not hold positions in the securities detailed and may or may not hold these positions in the future. A full list of all securities purchased, sold, or held during the 12 months preceding the date of this publication can be provided upon request. Unless otherwise noted, all data accessed via MarketWatch or the Bloomberg terminal. Past performance does not guarantee future results. A copy of Narwhal's Form ADV is available on the SEC's website, www.advisorinfo.sec.gov, or from Narwhal upon request.